Welcome. My name is Win Addison, and this is Community Connections. Today I'm here with Gary Barber, Superintendent of the Marion City Schools. How are you?
Good, thanks, Win, for having me.
No problem. So last year I know that the district was working a lot on the vision and mission of the Marion City Schools. So can you tell me a little bit about that?
Absolutely. We spent a lot of time last year working with our community to develop a mission, and that being the mission of the Marion City Schools is to inspire a community of achievement. We see ourselves as a school district playing a vital role in the rebound of Marion, in helping inspire achievement within the community everywhere we can. Also, how we hope to realize that mission is to provide an innovative and rigorous instructional model so that all of our students can succeed both academically and personally. We also want to be sure that we're providing a safe, respectful, caring environment that promotes student learning. We want to make sure that we're collaborating and communicating with all of our stakeholders, which means our staff, our students, and our parents, to make sure that everyone has the information that they need to be successful. And then last but not least, we want to make sure that we're managing and prioritizing our human and financial resources so that we're putting all of our energies and all of our finances towards meeting our district goals.
Okay. How would you say, just from last year, that we've improved in a sense of like the students, both academic and personal behavior? And
yeah, great. That's a great question. Well, you know, we have an opportunity to grade ourselves, not only through the local report card that the state issues out, but we set some measures. Our board has given us some goals, and we've sat down and articulated with our teaching staff, and hopefully drilling that down to our students to some of the areas that we really want to improve on. The first was the third grade guarantee. There's new legislation in the state now that mandates that every child is reading at grade level at third grade. So we were able to improve that percentage of students being there over the past year. We're not at 100% yet, but that's a goal that we have and we'll continue to strive forward to do. The other thing that we were able to do is we were able to earn a C in our performance index on the state report card. The performance index is the one measure that evaluates how all of our students do in our state mandated tests. Again, a C is not where we want to be, but we saw improvements. And that's the one thing that we continue to preach over and over with our staff. Even though we're not where we want to be, we just want to make sure that we're on a positive climb and we continue to get better every day and every year that we're here. Our graduation rate improved at Marion Harding at both the 4th and the 5th grade level. And then one of the things that I'm really proud about is we had 1,614 less failures than we had the year before. And when I talk about failures, I'm specifically talking about grade card failures in our 9 weeks. So that's 1,614 less Fs, and if we know that our students aren't failing and they're achieving at a higher level, they're going to be more successful, and we're going to be more successful in inspiring a community of achievement.
good to hear. Also, how do you think throughout the many buildings throughout the district that the safety and behavioral and respect has changed?
Good. We've instituted positive behavioral intervention systems in all of our buildings, and we are right now in the process of expanding our Leader in Me, in which we have in Benjamin Harrison, to a few of our other elementaries. But that positive behavioral system has allowed us last year to have 157 less suspensions. Our student enrollment's up for the first time in 11 years. We ended our year last year with 100 more students, over 100 more students than we had the year before. Our teaching staff missed 464 less days due to sickness or personal leave than they had before, and our student attendance rate was up. So those are things, as we look at our district culture, that we're proud to say that we've improved on.
So I hear that a lot of things are improving and a lot of new programs and such. How are you trying to get that communication out to the community through the students?
Wynn, that's a great question, and I've never heard anyone complain that we over-communicate. As a matter of fact, we usually hear the opposite, but we're really trying to do our best to establish much more of a presence on Facebook and Twitter. We have many more followers on those particular sites. If you take a look at our district webpage, it's been revamped. We're continuing to make changes to that to be able to make sure that we have accurate information and information that's timely for our parents and our students. If our community has any input on how we can make any of our Facebook pages, our Twitter, or our website more valuable for their use, we're obviously open to hear any of those comments. And then last but not least, we're utilizing our one calls at a much more frequent rate. Many of our buildings are doing weekly one calls to parents just to make sure that they know exactly what's happening and what's coming up in their buildings.
Earlier, you mentioned the Leader in Me program. I was also aware of the STAR program at Garfield, and also like just My Voice and Student Council here at Harding.
Mm-hmm.
How much of the success and change would you attribute to those programs and just the students?
I think that we need to continue to build on student ownership. All of those pieces that you mentioned, My Voice, the Garfield Stars, whether it be the Hayes Ways, McKinley Proud, no matter what the slogan is, it's all about students having voice and students having some ownership in their educational program and process. So anytime you can build student ownership, you're going to build much more engagement, and we're going to have not only produce students who are strong academically, but we're going to be producing student leaders, just like yourself.
Thank you. Also, budgets is something that's very popular among the news and just the community. So how is Marion City Schools using their resources?
You know, that's another great question. We are really taking a look at preserving the facilities that we have and making sure that they're first class. So you'll see some projects that have gone underway that we feel fall in that preservation category. So as you see our blacktop projects throughout the district, we need to make sure that we're continuing to maintain that. Our roofs. We had a large infrastructure project for our internet, where now we have many more access points throughout the district and much more broadband, so that our students and teachers can experience a 21st century education by utilizing video, utilizing websites at a much more easier and frequent basis. Another thing we're going to talk about a little bit later is our track facility, which was at a state where it was almost condemned, and it wasn't safe. So again, that maintenance of making sure that we're providing quality facilities for our students, quality facilities for our community, and that it's safe and inviting for the folks that we host.
Once again, I'm Win Addison for Community Connections. Another thank you to Mr. Gary Barber for coming in today, and we'll be back after these short messages.
The Marion City Schools take pride in our music department. With nationally recognized marching band, show choir, orchestra, jazz band, multiple choirs and ensembles, as well as advanced placement music theory, the Marion City Schools offer a wide variety of opportunities for students to showcase their musical talents. Numerous studies show that music education enhances core curriculum, promotes social dynamics, and encourages community involvement. At Marion City Schools, opportunity is the foundation of success.
Welcome back to Community Connections. In this next segment, we have our ace reporter, True Roberts, on the scene at Goodwill with Mike Ring.
Hi, I'm True Roberts, and I'm here with Mike Ring at Goodwill in Marion, Ohio, and we're here to talk a little bit about the Let's Read 20 program. Mike, could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, Let's Read 20 is a new program for Marion County. It's actually a community-wide program. It's dedicated to building a community of readers, and we're trying to do that by driving a message forward, which is that kids need read to 20 minutes a day, every day. And if we do that, then one of the things that happens is kids are ready for school at the appropriate times, and once they're in school, then they tend to do better. So the bottom line is Let's Read 20 is Marion's new reading literacy effort. It's a community-wide initiative, so it's not just the schools, it's business, it's industry, it's healthcare, it's preschools, it's daycare. It's, in fact, one of the biggest populations that we're going after right now are kids that are just born, birth to 3 or 4 years old, and we'll be working with public health and WIC and Help Me Grow and MAP and all those different groups in the community to make sure that we get books out to kids and that we drive that message forward with their parents, that they need read to 20 minutes a day from birth through elementary school, and it really, really does increase the likelihood of success for school and then for life in general.
So with Let's Read 20 being relatively new, exactly how big is it right now? Where are we at in the stages of getting larger and larger?
Yeah, we're in our infancy stages, and we're infants, and we're just getting ready to go into that toddler stage where we're learning to walk. We're getting our kind of legs up under us. But really, Let's Read 20 started in mid-June. And United Way of Marion County is the administrative and fiscal agent. But again, we have a board that's made up of people from all segments of the community. So we have a good board, we've got a good structure, and the bottom line is that we're off and running. We're really doing what we need to do, which is collect books and get books and reading materials out into the hands of kids. In fact, a lot of people don't realize it, but probably the greatest barrier to reading and literacy and school success later on with kids is they just don't have access to books and educational materials, and that's found across the board. So the bottom line is one of Let's Read 20's big initiatives is to collect or to procure or to find new and used books that we can make available to parents at no cost to them so that they have the resources available to read to their kids 20 minutes every day. And that's really the big thing that we're pushing. A lot of folks don't realize it, but when you read to a child 20 minutes a day, you develop, increase, and enhance their vocabulary, and you really get them ready for preschool and kindergarten, and of course those things that we don't like to talk about, that third grade guarantee and all those achievement tests that have to be done, but it really goes with them through graduation into their adult lives. So we know from the research that kids that are read to 20 minutes a day, that if they're read to 20 minutes a day through elementary school, they have about 1.8 million words in their vocabulary by the time they're in the 3rd or 4th grade. Versus kids that, let's say we got a kid that's not read to every day. Their vocabulary list is about 8,000 words. So you can see the big difference there between a kid that's read to 20 minutes a day and a kid that's not. It's really significant.
Right. And now, how exactly can the community help out with this? By volunteering or donating, anything like that? Could you talk about that?
Sure, and that's one of the reasons that we're at Goodwill today. Goodwill is a partner United Way agency, and they work real well with Let's Read. In fact, I don't know if you realize it or not, and you guys probably do, because a couple weeks ago we had a big book drive when Harding and River Valley played the big game out at River Valley. That whole week before, the student councils got together and developed a student-driven book drive. I don't know if the community realizes it, and maybe you all don't realize it, but during that week we collected over 29,000 books from all the elementary and middle schools and high schools in Marion City and in River Valley. And so that's one of the reasons we're at Goodwill today, because in the next room behind us we have 17 volunteers from Tri-Rivers Career Center. They're here for Make a Difference Day, which is a national United Way project, and they're here sorting and organizing books for Let's Read 20 so that we can tub them and get them ready to go back out to kids to all the different events that we run throughout the year. So that's kind of what we're up to. One of the big things is collecting, we call them gently loved books. They're newer used books. We've actually been able to procure about 15,000 brand new books, and they're nice books. They're Disney books. They're all age appropriate for kids, let's say 3 years old through 3rd grade. And so mixing those 13 or 15,000 new books in with the 29,000 books that we collected during the book drives, and we have book drives going throughout the year, we have about 50,000 books that we want to turn around and get back out in the hands of parents so that they have materials to read to their kids.
All right, well, I appreciate your time, Mike. Thank you.
Appreciate it. And last thing I would say just real quickly is if anyone wants to donate, they can get a hold of Let's Read 20 at the United Way office. Again, they're our administrative and fiscal agent, and that number there is 740-383-3108. And so we're really looking for people that want to volunteer, donate, mentor, read to kids. That's another big program that we've got, is we actually have volunteers out in the schools doing a project with us, but it's also with the Marion City Schools called Project Inspire, and that's where we actually have adults directly in school buildings reading to kids every day. And so that's a real important program. I know Marion City's really big on it, and Jennifer Lawson and Jill over there, the title coordinator, helped us a couple Fridays ago when we had readers in all the schools. So it's a really big project. It's part of our mission. It's part of what we're trying to do. So the bottom line is donate, volunteer, mentor, and help us get books, and we'll get them back out to kids that need them.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Marion Harding High School offers advanced placement classes that are designed to be academically challenging while offering many rewards. By taking advanced placement classes at Harding High School, students not only challenge themselves academically, they earn college credit while gaining a competitive edge over other students applying for various colleges and universities. From advanced science and math to government, English, and music, Harding High School prepares students for the world of higher learning. At Marion City Schools, opportunity is the foundation of success.
We're back with Stephen Fuji, and he is Marion City Schools Director of Operations, and we're just going to talk a little bit about the track operation down at Grant Middle School. So we just had Harding's first home game last Friday, and we've all seen the track, and we're just wondering what the operation's looking like in the near future, and if you can tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, this is a really exciting project for Marion City Schools. I'm sure that a lot of our community members were able to come out for our homecoming events. And Mr. Barber talked at length about inspiring a community of achievement, and with that honoring many of the traditions of the past, as well as trying to build adequate facilities for the future. In doing so, Mr. Barber also talked about our vision of being able to have a safe, warm, caring, and respectful environment, and some of that extends quite honestly to our track. I understand you took a homecoming date, hopefully had a good time at the homecoming event itself, but would have noticed many changes. Some of those changes would be with regard to this track project and trying to move forward. We had milled out all of the track surface that had been there for many years prior to now. We've contracted with folks like Owens Electric right here from Marion and Vasco Sports, which is a statewide national leader for athletic facilities. We want to bring our track facility into a much more current and timely opportunity for our students and for our student athletes, so that it really reflects what Marion City Schools believes in terms of what we want to compete with and how we want to welcome visitors into our facility. Probably noticed that there was a lot of dirt moved around. In the southeast corner there was a lot of spoil, is what it's called, which is the previous surface of the track that's been moved off to the side. I know our homecoming queens and candidates came in and they all were wearing hard hats and went over and had a picture taken and really tried to make the experience enjoyable for folks, because we know that as we build for the future, it kind of takes a different look as you're moving forward. One of the opportunities that probably will translate best is that the track lane used to be a 6-lane track. One of the things that we're trying to do is meet OHSAA, which is the Ohio High School Athletic Association, kind of best practices, and we've moved to the opportunity to have an 8-lane track. We're in stage 3 currently of this project, which means that we're putting in a curb system, which is actually going in right now as we sit here and speak today, which is the concrete form that'll kind of butt up to the two sides of the track lane surface itself. The next thing that our community should be able to see is some asphalt that will go down. And then finally, hopefully in the spring, we'll have a new installed track surface and lines painted on there just in time for Marion Night Relays. Really hoping that this project moves our city and our athletics forward so that we can make sure to honor folks like you win.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure.
Do you have any, will there be any changes after or during the football season?
Yeah, sure. One thing that you probably noticed, we had a smaller visitor crowd on the home side of the stands for the homecoming event. One of those was because, quite honestly, our competitors didn't bring a lot of folks. And another reason is because we tried to keep everybody on the home side for the best view possible. And in doing that, it allowed us to get a lot of work done at what I'll call the D ends, which is, the football field sits, and then on the outside of the football field before you get to the track is kind of a large grassy area, is what it's been in the past. Well, now that's all been kind of torn out. We're gonna surface one of those areas and allow the other area to remain grass. Things like your pole vault and your long jump pits will go in there for opportunities. As our football games proceed into the future, we're going to continue to try and make all of the modifications necessary for folks like our marching bands, for folks like our visitor section, for folks who need access to that visitor sideline, so that there's a little bit of easier traffic to and from. Other ways that we've tried to spring ahead, knowing that parking has been at a premium, our transportation department has been offering a shuttle service, so that if families or community members want to park at Benjamin Harrison Elementary or at the Christian Church, we'll provide them transportation much like an Ohio State football game, just to try to make things easier for our community members. I really think that homecoming went well, given the kind of dynamics of all of the facility needs at play. Students did a great job cheering on the team. and we hope to have that continue into the future.
Okay. Thank you. I feel like I learned a lot and know what's really going on down there. And,
Well, great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wynn.
And we'll be back after a few short messages for our last segment.
Wouldn't it be great if money grew on trees? Unfortunately, it doesn't. But at Harding High School, our guidance counselors are here to help students find the money needed for college. In fact, our students typically qualify for merit-based scholarships, athletic awards, or even general awards based on financial need. No, money doesn't grow on trees, but at Marion City Schools, we can help you plant the seeds of success by guiding you towards a wealth of scholarship money. At Marion City Schools, your future begins today.
Community Connections is back with Jill Yongchek, District Title Coordinator. Thank you for coming on.
Hi, Wen. Thanks for having me.
What can you tell me about the new Inspire program?
We have a reading mentoring program called Inspire, and it's called Inspire because it fits well with our mission and vision of inspiring a community of achievement at Marion City Schools. And the program is formerly known, that many community members might know, as Project More. And what we decided to do with that is not only make it to our district's mission and vision through the name, but also expanding it within our district. We housed the reading mentoring program in 2 of our elementary school buildings last year at George Washington Elementary as well as McKinley Elementary. But this year we were able to expand to a 3rd building at Garfield Elementary.
Okay, that's very exciting to hear. Here at Harding, we're very, or at least the students are very into community service and other volunteering, along with like our community service day. How could high school students themselves implement themselves in the program?
High school students absolutely can be part of the program. I think that's a wonderful idea for building relationships and helping build our community at our school district. Mr. Snyder has actually been on the ball with recruiting high school students to come into the elementary schools and read. So we would definitely like more high school students to come on down and read with our elementary students.
And along with high school students, would you also need just community members to volunteer as well?
Anybody can volunteer to be a reading mentor for Inspire. Fortunately, we've had community members who have done the one-on-one mentoring in the past return to our buildings, and we're continuing to gain more volunteers. So parents can volunteer, relatives, high school students, and of course, as I said already, we're really tapping into that community to bring them into our schools to see the great things we're doing for literacy.
As you may know, Harding just recently had a book drive competition with River Valley for the Let's Read 20, and we won that, of course. And I was just wondering how Let's Read 20 might have anything to do with this program. And
Absolutely. Well, Let's Read, Inspire really fits in with Let's Read 20. For the program, the volunteers who we're calling reading mentors work with a child one-on-one for 30 minutes. And we were saying, Let's Read 20, read for your child for 20 minutes. So what Inspire does is has that 20 minutes built in the school day through the one-on-one mentoring, but it is also very important that we want everyone to be aware of reading outside of school is key to be successful in reading, especially early literacy and moving into the older grades.
Okay. That sounds like a great program, and I'm excited to hear how it develops throughout the year.
Yes.
Thank you for tuning in. That'll conclude our broadcast for today, and tune in next month.